Right then, everybody, welcome along to the over 28's round 23 here in Monza, and I very much apologise for the delayed start from me here in the commentary box, but we are finally here and ready to get going with the commentary then. Obviously, here in Monza, it's looking a bit wet this weekend, but with the company of 16 drivers on the grid this weekend, hopefully we have a good race and a qualifying session coming up just ahead of us then. Welcome to everybody in the stream chat just joining, and it is great to be here and be commentating on the over 28's league. It's my first time commentating on this one, so wish me the best of luck, and I hope we get some good racing today then, as everybody starts to come out the pit lane one by one in order now. And the first drivers to be coming out the pit lane will be, I have no idea, I will take a look. It'll be an Alfa Romeo, and the Alfa Romeo of it is dual coupe then, coming out at the moment. And obviously my first time commenting on this, I've got to get used to some of the names in here, but I should be alright after a few races. I should be able to get my head around it, as we'll go on to the Alfa Romeo. Where is he? I've completely lost him. Never mind, he dropped back then, as it is the car of Peninsula then, who is, I've heard, apparently quite quick in this league, and is up there then and be the first person to put a time on the board. He is the first driver out there, of course then, as we have the Jeffy Nort then in P9 just behind him, and we'll have to see where they can place themselves at the start of this qualifying session. The best part of 16 minutes here in qualifying, and we're on the intermediates. It is wet conditions here in Monza, and hopefully that doesn't carry on into the race, but to be fair, I mean, could bring out some good racing action. You just don't know around here in Monza. And obviously I've not seen these drivers race before, but I've seen where is he? I've seen Ash in one league. Ash is quite quick, but I don't know what he's like compared to everybody else. And speaking of Ash, he's out there on a outlap even, and behind the Jeffy Nort then at the moment, and just up ahead will be. It wasn't behind Jeffy Nort, it was his teammate, sorry. And Jeffy Nort then to cross the line, and will be the second driver actually to cross the line and start their flying lap, followed up by the Williams of Oakley, I believe, behind that. And just up ahead is Peninsula there, and he is behind the McLaren. I'm just going to quickly take a look at the message really quick and see who the quick drivers are supposed to be in this league, because I have no idea and I want to really quickly see so I know who to look out for. Let's say we've got Peninsula, we have Dan's Motorsport, Mezzanator, Jeffy Nort, Turbo Snail, and Ash Barker then, as we have James, who has invalidated already, and I think that was in the pit lane. I'm not sure if he has a quali ban or something, or he just decided to disqualify himself. Retire himself just now, and we will have a few drivers. It is Peninsula, who will be the first driver to cross the line, and he will obviously put the fastest time on the board, as he is the first one, and followed up behind him. It'll be the Jeffy Nort then just behind that, but Peninsula will be heading round the Parabolica at the moment, and then onto the main straight, and we'll see what the first time of the weekend will be. What time will the first one be up on that board here in Monza? Peninsula will be the one to do it, and it'll be a 1:29.9, followed up by the car behind Jeffy Nort, and it's a 1:32.7 for the McLaren just behind. Then the other Williams comes across the line of, it wasn't the other Williams actually, it was, who was it actually? Does he go in? No, never mind, he goes into the pit lane, that's completely my bad. As Dark then goes on provisional pole by 9/10 of a second there from Peninsula, and Dark on P1 at the moment. It's Jewel who goes to P4, and we have someone else across the line now. Turbo Snail, another quick driver across the line, and it's a 1:28.5 on that lap just around there. Gunners to P3, and somebody else, it is Ash then around the Parabolica, and working Ash place himself. It doesn't seem to be an amazing lap, as he will go bombing it down the straight. We'll see if he can put himself into P4 for Ash. 1:29.4 on that lap around. And do we have any more laps going on around here? think Corrigan is on a lap, and up ahead there's a few guys as well who are definitely not on out laps actually, so we'll see what they're doing. Is it Peninsula on another lap maybe, or is he going into the pit lane this time around? Peninsula around the parabolic he goes, and let's see what he does. He decides to stay out and is on the lap then as he crosses the line, and it is provisional pole then for the Williams driver as Jeffinaut just behind steals it right off him then by a marginal few tenths there, and that is very, very close indeed. Jeffinaut steals the provisional pole from Peninsula on that lap around just there, and best part of 12 minutes on the clock of qualifying, so lots of time still to get yourself up there if you have not done so already, as there is a Ferrari of Corrigan who crossed the line and went into P7, 130 flat there for him on that time just there. And I just want to take a quick second to say as well, obviously this Twitch was only made a few hours ago, and I appreciate everyone that's followed it already, 22 on here at the moment, and if you are watching and haven't yet followed, it would be much appreciated if you do. We're back to the racing then. Turbo Snail goes quickest in the first sector. Peninsula goes half a second quicker and quickest in the middle sector then. Let's see if he can improve. Obviously went on provisional pole just a minute ago, and then Jeffinaut came right behind sneakily and took it away from him, and that was not very nice for him to see, but Peninsula is going to come back around and try for the redemption here in qualifying with 10 minutes left on the clock. Where can the Williams place himself? 1 minute 28.2 is the fastest for him at the moment, but he takes provisional pole by 7/10 of a second there on that lap around, and that is lovely, lovely stuff from the Williams driver. Jeffinaut cannot do anything about that, but he's going for another lap once again with only 40% ERS to do that one just there. Turbo Snail, who is 6/10 up on this lap, and he might be able to get somewhere close to Peninsula on this one, let's be honest. It's the Alpha Tauri then around the final corner and towards the line, foot to the floor for Turbo Snail, and where can he put himself in his second position? 9/10 improvement for Turbo Snail, and it is 1/10 behind the provisional pole time. Jeffinaut is down and is not on a lap actually. Corrigan just improved by 1.5 seconds, and it's a 128.5 for him. It's Ash with a nearly 7/10 improvement then to P3 on that lap around, and that is what we like to see from Mr. Ash Barker then in the Aston Martin. And now in the other Williams then, his teammate is on provisional pole, but it's Oakley, who is going to be trying to go quicker this time around, and Kieran has gone and binned it into the wall. I'm pretty sure we'll have to take a look at that one on the camera angle. Yes, he does. He goes straight into the wall there and bins it. Nearly bins it there, going off the edge of the track. But all is good out on track at the moment. We see Dan's Motorsport come out on a lap at the moment, and we'll see where he can place himself going round. He's on a flying lap at the moment, and we'll stay watching this one for now as he heads over the first sector line, and it'll be a 28.7 for Dan's Motorsport on this that sector round just there, as is absolutely pushing this Alpha Tauri to the limits then around the right-hander and in the way. You don't want to take too much curb, or especially in the exits here as well, and especially more into this corner. You don't want to take too much curb on that exit, because I've seen a lot of people spin out on that lap there, and it's Dan's Motorsport who will be foot to the floor then towards the end of Sector 2 and into the chicane. Where can Sector 2 place him? Fastest on track at the moment then for Dan's in the Alpha Tauri, and it's not doing too bad, but the commentator's curse strikes again. He's a bit iffy on the exit there, and Dan's lap is completely ruined on the exit of the chicane there. That is very unfortunate for him indeed. IGA Live Esports, hey man, how you doing mate? I think I spoke to you in DMs early, didn't I? How you doing mate? Gunners with a 1.1 second improvement on that last lap around, and it's a P3 time for him in the Haas at the moment then with, I was going to say how long we've got a qualifying left, but I cannot see it at the moment. But is Dan's going for another lap? No, he's not. We have about 7.5 minutes of qualifying left here in Monza, and hopefully we get some some more quick times being belted in towards the end of qualifying. Oakley's out there trying to put a lap on the board. I think he was trying last time around, but he must have had an issue on that lap because he's going once again without a time on the board. So we'll see what he can do this lap around. Doesn't take too much curb on the exit. Actually stays quite far from it as he heads down this straight here towards the chicane. Oakley goes. His teammates on provisional pole, but we'll have to see where he can put himself then. 59 even flat for the second sector, and now out of the chicane and onto the back straight he goes, and it'll be towards the parabolica for Oakley. No time on the board for him at the moment. There's 10 who have put time on the board, and there's only 4 they have not. And Oakley will be the next one to put the time on the board then, as his car goes flying towards the line. Then it's Oakley. Can he match his teammate on this lap around? He goes to P6, and it's a 1:28.2 on that lap around. And the gap between him and Jeffenor is only very, very small. As while that was going on, I think there was somebody who went off the track. One of the McLarens. It was Mezzanator, but he continues on, and I don't think that lap will be too great for him at the moment. It is Energize just followed. How are you doing, Garrison? If you're lurking in the stream chat, I'd love to have you in the stream today, mate. Oakley 2.5 tenths up at the moment on that lap around. He's going once again, it seems, with not too much ERS left. As Mezzanator, did he just cross the line? I think he did. Dan's Motorsport, after bottling that lap just before, the one that I gave him the dreaded commentator's curse on, he does go about 1 second quicker in the first sector. And we'll keep watching this one and see if he can get anywhere close to the top times at the moment. I've heard he's a fast driver, and from what I've seen at the moment, he looks quick then as he goes quickest in the middle sector. 1.4 second improvement from his last time as he exits the chicane and tries to be very careful about that, obviously, in these wet conditions on the intermediate tyres then, as that little Alfa Romeo heads towards the parabolica, and we'll see where he can place himself. Someone else who's just gone up on times, I think it was Oakley, who improved on that lap around. But next across the line will be Dan's Motorsport. He ruined the last lap around, but he heads towards the line now, and he can only do a P9 that lap around. It's a 1.6 second improvement, and I thought he could do better than that, but sadly not on that lap around then, as Jeffenor is probably going to go in the pit lane this lap around. It's Charles. I'm not sure what he's doing. Is he on a lap? Yes, he is. He also got crossing line. I think it is Dan who has just started a flying lap as well, and it is a 1/10 improvement by somebody there I've just seen. I think it was Dark in the first sector, as he's 11 at the minute, and 1:29 flat. Quickest time for him as of right now, and hopefully he can get himself up there on the timing boards at the moment. He's just sat behind Dan's Motorsport on the timing board as he heads over the second sector, and a 6/10 improvement, apparently quickest in the middle sector then, as we have the best part of 4 minutes of qualifying left, and this is where you're going to see the belter times start to be punched in onto that timing board then, as Dark is going to be making his way down towards the parabolica in the final corner and see if he can improve on this lap around. It's 1:29 flat for him to improve on as he goes towards the line, and it's the Aston Martin who is trying to improve. Can he do it though? It'll be a P5 and puts himself just ahead of his teammate in at P6, and Dark doesn't put a bad time on the board there, gets right up just past his teammate to rub it in his face. And he's actually in the pit lane at the moment, so we'll not be challenging that one as of right now. But if he wants to come out, he's going to have to come out pretty soon. In the next few minutes indeed, as Peninsula will be waiting around now, and then we'll be sending it for a flying lap as he heads around the final corner. As Mezzanator came out of absolutely nowhere, crosses the line for the McLaren team, and it's a 1:27 flat and steals provisional pole there by about 4/10 of a second. That is absolutely lovely then from the McLaren, and I told you these fast times are going to start to get punched in at the end of qualifying here, and it's Mezzanator who does take provisional pole from Peninsula at the moment, who is going to try and fight back and is on a flying lap just now. We'll see where he can put himself this time around. 1 minute 27.5 fastest lap as of right now. So we've got yellow flags just up ahead. I think it's the McLarens that are slowing down just there. Maybe one of them's going to try and bring in the tactical team play and see if we can get some slipstream going on down the straights. That'd be nice to see between the teammates. Get some teamwork going on. Hopefully that is something that we can see. As there is the best part of 2 minutes of qualifying left. 1 minute 40 seconds on the clock left, and we'll see where the times start to get punched in now. Obviously it's Mezzanator who's quickest on the lap at the moment, and he heads towards the line now, and maybe he's going for a lap now. He saved up a bit of the RS, so he's going to try and improve that lap even more than it already is. Peninsula improves by just a little bit, and if Peninsula towards the line, it's a tiny improvement, but not enough then to deny Mezzanator, and Mezzanator stays on that provisional pole spot here in Monza in qualifying, and there's only a minute and 10 seconds on the clock left, so if Peninsula wants to get past him, this is the lap of the weekend for him, and he's going to have to try and do it quickly then, and see if he can find them tenths then on this lap. Up ahead is the McLarens, and seems to be a bit of team play going on here then, as it is Jeffinot who is getting a lovely slipstream from his teammate just up ahead, and does improve in the first sector. We'll see how long that lasts for. See if he can go any quicker towards the next sector now as he's heading towards his teammate. His teammate gives him another slipstream. His teammate moves to the inside, and that was lovely team play between the two McLarens, and Jeffinot is 4 tenths up in the middle sector on that lap around and heads towards the back straight now. His teammate's just behind him then as they're going down the straight, and we're going to continue to watch Jeffinot now then as we head towards the parabolic and onto the final corner. It is 8 seconds of qualifying left, and they're not going to make it to the line in time to go around again, I don't think. But it is Jeffinot then towards the line. He just misses out to go around again. Can it be quick enough? It is P8 then improved by just a little bit, and it's not enough to really move anywhere on the grid that time around. It is Schultz then with a 1/10 improvement, and Ash with a 4.5 improvement on this lap at the moment, and through sector 1 it was a 4.5 improvement, I must say, as he will head towards the end of sector 2. And where can he place himself this time around? It is a 2.5 improvement pretty much on that 158 second middle sector as he heads onto the back straight, and just up ahead of him there is a Ferrari that's about to cross the line. I think it's Corrigan with a 2/10 improvement in the middle sector, and he heads towards the final corner. Bit iffy on the exit, and Corrigan goes round on the parabolica and hits the wall, and his wing comes off completely there. And that's the end of qualifying for him, but we'll go back to, we'll go to Schultz now then, as he is heading towards the line. Up ahead is that Ash? Yes, it is Ash, who crosses the line to P3 then at the end of qualifying. That is what we love to see indeed. Jarman's not going to improve. Corrigan obviously goes into the pit lane, and that will be the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mezzanator who takes pole position even here in Monza, then Dan's Motorsport second, and Oakley sticks it in third position this weekend. That was a lovely qualifying session, I can't lie. It was very good as we go on to the finishing results, and it's Mezzanator who is on pole position here in Monza. Then it's Dan's Motorsport second, then Oakley sticks it in third position for this weekend. It's Schultz fourth, Peninsula fifth, Ash sticks it in sixth, who drops down a little bit there. I think he was third, wasn't he? About there, and then it was Turbo Snell seventh. Goodness, eighth it is Dark ninth, and Jeffinot puts himself in the top 10. To start the race off, as we have Jarman 11, it is Dan 12, Corrigan 13, Jewel in 14th, and on to 15th we go to James, and 16th is Kieran then in the Mercedes, starting right at the back then for the over 28's round 23 here in Monza, and the main race is up next, ladies and gentlemen. And as you see now, the rain is cleared away, and we're going to have a lovely dry start then down with the massive run down into turn one, and we'll have to see how that one turns out then, with all the drivers starting at the front. The quick guys definitely at the front, and it's going to be a lovely show to watch at the start of this race indeed, and I cannot wait for it to get underway. Before the race starts, if any of you have not seen me commentate before, you will be happy to know that I do like it, the engagement in the chat. If anyone in there in the chat has any questions in the stream chat for me to answer, I will be more than happy to answer them for you. Or if you just want to come in and have a little conversation, I don't mind that either. As we are getting ready to go into the main race soon, I think, unless they have a break. But I obviously am quite new to this league, so I'm not really sure if they do or not. And as we still patiently wait for the race, if anybody hasn't followed yet, this new Twitch, I'd much appreciate it. 23 we've got on here now. We was on about, I think we was on about 19 when I started the stream, and thank you for the follows, everybody. It's much appreciated, and I will be here for the foreseeable future doing your Friday commentaries. So I'm sure you'll be glad to hear that. As I am pretty sure we do have a break then, because it has been a little while since we loaded in, and I'm not really sure how long the break is, but if that's something one of you in the stream chat could tell me, I'd much appreciate that as well. Um, if not, I can try and find it myself, but I'm not sure. Also, I'm gonna quickly post a link in the Discord. Anyway, we're still waiting for the race to get going for the over 28s round 23 here in Monza, and there's 7 of you in here at the moment. So welcome along to the stream chat and the stream, and hope you're having a good time so far watching the qualifying session. If you did manage to get round to watching that, it was definitely quite an interesting one. It was very fun. But obviously the main race next, and I cannot wait for it. Then definitely with the top 3 that we have starting off as well. It's going to be a really interesting one, going down into turn 1 with the massive long straight as well. So it's going to be a very exciting one going forward. But I have no idea when the race gets started, to be fair, because I'm that new to this league. But we'll go as we'll go along with the flow. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it is formation lap. Yes, it is formation lap actually, as we starting off the race here in Monza with a lovely formation lap, and it'll be Mezzanator leading them off from Dan's Motorsport. Then from Oakley, it's Schultz in 4th, Peninsula 5th, Ash in 6th, Turbo Snail 7, Gunners 8, Dark 9. It is Jeffinaut in 10, Jarmin 11, Dan 12, Corrigan 13, Jules 14, James 15, and Kieran rounds off the grid in P16 this weekend. Don Dej, howdy. How are you, mate? How are you doing? It's good to see you here. It's good to see you on a Friday. Can't wait to come around and commentate on your league once again. It's always a very fun one. That one is, and lovely to see you in the stream chat, mate. As Mezzanator is going to be, he's going to have a lot of things going through his head before the start of this race. One of the main ones is going to be not get overtaken into turn 1, especially with that massive long run down into the first corner. It is one you've got to really defend hard on, or get a good start at the start of the Grand Prix when them lights go out, and hopefully that is something that he can accomplish. But he has got the likes of Dan's Motorsport just on his rear end then when they get started for the Grand Prix, and that's going to be an interesting one, especially with Oakley following up that behind, and we'll see where that gets them all then, as majority of them are going to start to head round the Parabolica now. And Don Dej, happy to be here. Thank you, mate. It's good to see you in the stream chat. I think a lot of them are driving, but most of them are driving that are in the stream, mate, I think. So we're not going to get a lot of action in the chat. So if you just want to chill in here for a bit, I don't mind that. Tire life, of course you can, mate. There you go. You can have that straight up as the drivers start to line up on the grid, and going to try and get the best positions that they can starting off this race. Everybody seems to be getting decent ones then at the start, as they're all rolling up to their perfect grid slots, and the race is about to get underway then here in Monza. It's all starting to get real now for everybody as they all line up on the grid. Kieran is going to be the last driver to place that car then on the back of the grid here in Monza. It'll be Mezzanator to lead them away as the lights get ready to go out. As the lights are getting ready to go out, then the engines are absolutely roaring to the limit then this weekend as Mezzanator leads them away. It's lights out and away we go. Mezzanator and McLaren with a brilliant start then as Dan's Motorsport then down into turn 1 is trying to defend off Oakley from behind, but Mezzanator has got the start absolutely brilliantly calculated then into turn 1, but Dan's Motorsport is one that hasn't done that perfectly and has to go off the track and onto the slip road there, which is going to bring Oakley into play, and so it's Schultz then. He's going to go down the inside of Dan's Motorsport, who started in 2nd and now demoted right down to 4th position at the very start. Is Ash going to be on the back end of that one as well? Not so much then, but it's Dan's who's going to try and challenge down the inside of the Mercedes, and the Mercedes has to drop back there. Dan's just get ahead, and he's up in back into P3 there, but he's going to try and get back up to P2 when he can. Mezzanator has got the start, absolutely brilliant for him, and that is exactly what he wanted then at the start of this Grand Prix. It is Turbo Snail who is running a lovely race at the moment just behind Charles. He's going to try and overtake him just down into here, but it is Ash who is going to try it to the inside now. The Ferrari just behind as well, who is going to try and push. See if he can pick up on any pieces, if anyone makes a mistake just up ahead of him. But now they go onto the back straight, and it's Dan who is on the backside of the Aston Martin of Ash. The car up ahead of Gunners is weaving then, going down the straight, but the Ferrari is gaining and gaining then as they go into the Parabolica, and nothing comes out of it that time around, but there's moves going on at the back as well. As the McLaren of Jeffinaut goes through past Jarman, is the Ferrari going to pick up on the pieces as well? Mezzanator goes quickest, but Corrigan then is going to try to the inside down the straight. It's a drag race between Corrigan and the Alpine of Jarman, and the Ferrari gets through past the Alpine when he tries to fight back into turn one. That is the main question, but it will not happen that time around. There's a challenging win on here then, as the Aston Martin of Ash is challenging the Williams there, and Ash is through and to P7 on that lap around just there on lap 2 out of 27, ladies and gentlemen. And it is the two Alpha Tauris even, who are in 3 and 4 at the moment then, as Dan is in 3rd, started 2nd, demoted down to 4th, then up to 3rd, and see if he can make another way up. But he has got the pressure from the super quick driver Turbo Snail, who is just behind his teammate, and he's going to try and challenge him and make him crack and see if he can get him for that position. And as he has, makes a mistake there. That's a prime example of how you can make a mistake and it brings somebody right into play. It's Peninsula, who was just at the bottom end of that one, and it was brilliant for him because he could make the move right up to P8. And next on his list is Ash. Then he's going to try and catch up to him next. Ash has got Dan ahead of him. Dan's got a bit of a gap, but these two then, Turbo Snail gets past and through Dan's his teammates. And Dan's drops down from 2nd to 4th position then on going on to lap 3 out of 27 now. And it's Mezzanator who is still 8th, but Oakley's not dropping back too much yet. 7/10 between him and Mezzanator going down the main straight. DRS is now enabled, and it is a 12 for Tauris that are going at it once again. Dan's can't get close enough down the straight. Let's have a look at this one then. It's the Alpine. He's going to try on the Alfa Romeo, but nothing can come out of that one just there, and Jules stays ahead on this lap around then, as it is Dark just heading that battle, but he's not really touchable at this moment in time. Corrigan's in the pit lane getting new medium compound tyres on as of right now, but we still have the battle between the two Alpha Tauris at the moment. They're really battling hard at the moment on lap 3 out of 27, and the past 2 laps they haven't really left each other alone. We'll have to see what comes out of this one then, as the Mercedes is trying to catch up as well, and to be fair, he's pretty much almost there. If you can get up there in the next few corners, he is pretty much almost there. And as we head down now across the line for sector 2 and into the chicane we will head, and I've got a bit of a feeling that Dan's might be able to get through past Turbo, maybe on the main straight, but definitely not down the back straight, because Turbo got the brilliant and Turbo drive out of that corner, because he is flying down the back straight, and 7/10 between him and his teammate now. It's Schultz who is closer to Dan's, than Dan's is closer to Turbo at the moment, but the Mercedes is going to try and catch on Dan's. Dan's is just pulling away a little bit because he's got the DRS thanks to his teammate up ahead, and he is gaining into turn 1, but it'll be too far back to make a move work on this time around. Mezzanator has been overtaken by Oakley, and Oakley now leads the Italian Grand Prix at the moment, and that is absolutely lovely. That came out of absolutely nowhere as well. And it's Oakley who leads from Mezzanator, and then from Turbo Snail. Then comes his teammate Dan's Motorsport, who's trying to challenge him then into this corner here, and he has to back off there to try and not hit anything. And Dan's is quickest in the first sector as well, I must mention, as Mezzanator is still pushing on hard and trying to get through past Oakley, but that is a question waiting to be answered at the moment here in Monza, as we have these guys still battling just behind. It's Jarmin, Jewel and Dark, and we'll see if anything comes out of that one then, as the Alpine is going to try and maybe stick on the back end of the Alfa Romeo if he can accomplish that, as we head down now and onto this little straight part towards the chicane we go. And just up ahead, everybody is still so bunched up. You don't really see this very much in many leagues, but this league is definitely something different then, as the top 2 seem to be closer than ever at the moment. It is Oakley and Mezzanator. Mezzanator is going to come and try to get that revenge then on Oakley as they go down the straight, and the slipstream is helping him. A dream then is Mezzanator to the outside, and he goes right through and past Oakley on lap 5 out of 27, and Mezzanator reclaims the lead of the race here in Monza, as the two Alpha Tauris are back behind battling. And as that's been happening, It is the train of 5 drivers who have all caught up to each other and having a little 5-train battle here. And as we go down the straight, they will have a massive long DRS train. But we'll see any moves down here. I think Dan was trying to make a move there as Dan's is still behind the back end of his teammate, and that will not be changing at the moment. But look at how close these guys are still. Is there anything going on at the back? I see a bit of a bunch up there. Nothing too much at the minute, but them 3 are very close as well. We keep an eye on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 of them just there at the moment. That's a lot of them as Kieran goes into the pit lane, and everybody is going to try and, well, there's the Aston Martin of Ash, who was trying to get through past the Ferrari, and down onto the back straight we go. Who will get close enough to make a move down here then? As I think the Haas of Gunners is going to try and make a move as well. Everybody's in a position to make a move down here, let's be honest. And we'll see if Ash can try and make the move there. No, he can't, as they now continue this battle right round the Parabolica and onto the main straight. The massive long straight here in Monza, and we'll see what comes out of this one then as we're going down the straight, and nothing really at the moment, but the Ferrari is gaining on the Mercedes, and the Mercedes goes to the inside, the Ferrari on the outside. He actually pushes him then into turn 1. The Aston Martin brakes very late behind him as well, but nothing comes out of that one just there, and it's Oakley leading the Grand Prix still from Mezzanator, who is 3 tenths behind as of right now, and it is lap 6 out of 27, so we are doing not too bad at the moment. We haven't had a safety car just yet, and Dan's is trying to challenge his teammate. Everybody behind is called up to Turbo and Dan's. The 2 AlphaTauri boys having the battle of their lives at the moment. We've been battling so hard since about lap 2, and it's continuing to go on at the moment. Hopefully this is something we can get towards the whole race, throughout the whole race even, because that'd be something lovely to see. I would enjoy that very much. I'm sure you guys would enjoy that too then. As down into the chicane we will head soon, and Ash has got the Ferrari set in his sights. It's tunnel vision for Ash then, with number 3 on his car in the Aston Martin. He really wants to get through now. He's got a good exit out of there. As the Ferrari, with this train of cars, is just pulling away lovely because he's got cars ahead of him. It's just no use for anybody then as they go around, and it's just going to continue to be this DRS train as we go on to the main straight, and it's lap 7 out of 27 now, and it'll be 21 laps to go here in Monza as we go down the straight. And now the Ferrari's in a position to make a move on the Mercedes then. Up ahead, Dan's is making a move on his teammate as well. And it's 2 moves simultaneously here then as Dan goes through past his teammate. And Dan is going to try and get through past the Mercedes. And that move is done and dusted. And both of them got through lovely there as the car of Ash is going to try and get through past Schultz. Down the inside now. And Ash is through and past then. Makes contact with the Ferrari up ahead. And Ash has lost his front wing then, a bit of it. I don't know how much of it he lost, but he did lose some of it. He's going to challenge the Ferrari down the inside. Nearly could have put both of them in the wall there, but did not, and luckily did not. And everyone comes out of that one safe and sound this lap around. But now everybody's kind of bunching off into little groups. You've got the 2 pairs at the back. You've got this big group here, and you've got the pair at the front as well, who are half a second between each other at the moment. But this battle with all these drivers continues to carry on then as we race through the chicane and down onto the back straight now. And this is good from Gunner, because look at this. He's right on the back end of Peninsula. Will anything come out of this one then as we go down into the Parabolica? I don't think so, but the teammates up ahead of Dan's and Turbo. Turbo gets back through and past his teammate. Dan's is going to try and challenge that as we go back onto the main straight. He goes a bit wide there. Takes a lot of curb as we go onto the main straight now, and it'll be a massive train once again. The Haas back in the background was trying to get through past the Williams, but Mezzanator retakes the lead of the Grand Prix. But here's another move going on. Then it's Dan who's going to try and go through past his teammate. The Ferrari saw a bit of a move going on there as well, but nothing came out of that one that time around, and we are still in the same positions as normal. Then it's Schultz in the pit lane at the moment. It's Kieran still at the back of the grid. But these 2 at the front are still going on with this battle. 2 tenths now, 1 tenth it was just then, between Mezzanator and Oakley. And we have the massive train of cars just behind that as well. Still going as the Ferrari was going to try to the inside of the Aston Martin of Ash. And that one didn't go to plan for him, just that lap around. But he's going to try and push him through this corner as well. He'll stay on the back end of that Aston Martin like a magnet, hopefully. That's what he hopes anyway. And he's going to see if he can. But Peninsula, who was doing so well up there, has just had a bit of a moment and has dropped back right down to P8 at the moment. He's not in that train of drivers anymore. He's actually out of that now as they go through the chicane and onto the back straight, and it's Dan's now on the back end of his teammate. Deja vu for these drivers as we go for it once again, and Turbo's just got the turbo speed down the straight at the moment and can stay ahead of Dan's Motorsport there, but is Kieran, who has retired from the session in the pit lane just there. Moves going on here, then Ferrari down the inside of Ash, and Ash gets overtaken on that lap around. Oakley also goes down the outside of Mezzanator, and these two just keep swapping positions in and out. Then on lap 9 out of 27, it's Oakley who regains the lead then of the Italian Grand Prix. Back again behind, the teammates battling them. We had a bit of a move going on there with the Haas and the Aston Martin, but nothing came out of it. But the two AlphaTauris still going at it then on lap 9 out of 27. And I've got a feeling this is just going to continue to carry on throughout the whole race, because this is lovely and this is the racing we want to watch here in Monza this weekend, as Dan's Motorsport is still stuck on the back end to Turbo like a magnet. And to be fair, it's vice versa when it's Turbo on the back end of Dan's. They're always stuck together like magnets then as we go around here, and hopefully Dan's can get a better exit out of there. I'm not sure if he did or not, but Turbo's doing alright to stay ahead. You see the gap's closing in now. It's 2/10 at the moment, coming down by a small little bit there as we go into the chicane. And then next onto the back straight. Nothing will happen through here, but maybe onto the back straight. That's a possibility. It depends on the exit you get out of this corner now for Dan's, as Dan's will now trail his teammates down the back straight towards the parabolic. He sticks perfectly in the slipstream there just behind as well. We've got moves going on between the Haas and the Aston Martin. It's a drag race to the parabolica. The Haas has got the drive to the inside, and the Haas is going to try and get through past the Aston Martin, and Ash drops down to P7 as Gunners his way right through to P6, and that is absolutely lovely for the Haas. We'll be happy about that one. Side by side with the teammates once again, and Dan's Motorsport to the outside and passed through his teammates on the 10th lap of this Grand Prix. And Dan's Motorsport is up and through this lap around. That is lovely, lovely stuff. As the top two are racing again then, going all out this race at the moment. It's Mezzanator and Oakley. Mezzanator regains the lead of the Grand Prix. I didn't actually mention that one on stream at the moment, but he does regain the lead. And bit of an iffy corner there from Oakley. Mezzanator gets the better exit clearly on that one there, as it is dark in the pit lane at the moment. And you can see Jewel and Jarmin, who are just about overtaking each other at the moment. Hopefully we get something out of that one soon, as we have the car train that is starting to slowly ease out and get a bit wider, I must say, throughout this race, as the gap between the top two is closing in, and it keeps staying this way. Then as we go onto the back straight, Mezzanator up ahead, but Oakley's got the slipstream. Then down the back straight we go into the parabolica. Oakley's getting closer. The gap is 2.5 tenths now, and it's coming down even more to 1 tenth now. Oakley's got to get the perfect corner even out of the parabolica then, as he sticks in the slipstream beautifully, and down the straight he's got the McLaren ahead of him, but maybe not for long then. He sticks his car to the outside, and once again Oakley regains the lead down into turn 1, and the Williams gets the job done and dusted on lap 11 now, and it's just back and forth fighting between these two drivers all race long, and it's just the same thing over and over again. It's Dan still ahead of his teammate there. Peninsula goes into the pit lane, and these two seem to be battling then, as Jarmin, his teammate's in the pit lane, but Jarmin's trying to make the positions up, do his bit on the track at the moment. And these two are still scrapping away. Mezzanator and Oakley, that's going to continue on for a long, long while. There's still a car, there's still a train of drivers, I must admit, but it's not as big as it used to be at all. It is definitely getting bigger, indeed. As who do we have at the back? We have Schultz at the moment, who is on the back side of... Is that Williams? Yes, it is the Williams. It is the Williams of Peninsula in P11 at the moment. And we'll have to see if Schultz can get any closer to Peninsula. Jeff Norton and Jewel are both on 10-lap old softs. They started on the soft compound tyres. And... we'll have to see how long they can go on them before they have to come in for a pit stop. Obviously, they're going to be the first ones to pit, probably, in this race, being on the softs at the moment. But onto the main straight we go, and it's the battle between Oakley and Mezzanator. Will it be the same thing once again then, as Mezzanator's gaining once again, and he does go... Which way did he go? Actually, we didn't know which way it was going to be. To the outside this time, and Mezzanator regains the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, in back and forth action once again between these two as well. And Turbo Snail gets through past his teammate once again down into turn 1. It's Turbo from Dan, from Gunners, then from Ash at the back with a bit of a rubbish exit out of that corner there. But now the 7-car train has now turned into a 3-car train pretty much at the moment. more of a two-car train, really, with these two are battling. But, yep, Jeffinaut goes into the pit lane. So does Jewel. And I did say that they were going to be the first ones to pit, and they have gone in and put the new mediums on this lap around. And we'll have to see what the mediums, the medium compound drivers do. Dark goes quickest on the new mediums, and yeah, we'll have to see what the drivers on the mediums will do when, well, what lap will they go in for a pit stop. Obviously, we know the hard compound tyre drivers will stay out for a lot longer. As we go on to the back straight, and it's Mezzanator still leading from Oakley, and I've got a, I think everybody's got a bit of a feeling that Oakley is probably going to make his way past through Mezzanator. Down the straight we go, and down the parabolic even, and onto the main straight we go. And this time Mezzanator goes into the pit lane, and Oakley continues on. Mezzanator decides to pit on their mediums now, and come in a bit earlier, and is going to see if that will work out for him in terms of strategy. Is Dan's to the inside of his teammate and back again, past them through. And Dan's and Turbo's still battling for their lives. The two AlphaTauri boys, no team orders at all for these two. They've been told that they can race as much as they want, and that is exactly what they're going to be doing all race long then, without fail. And down the main straight we go, and it's Charles on the back end of Peninsula. This move's finally going to get done and dusted. Which way would he go? To the inside. Schultz struggled to make his mind up there, but it's drag racing into turn one, and Schultz has got his mind fully made up, and he knows that he wants to be in P9, and that's where he is at the moment. He made his way right up into that position, and at the back, there's something going on here. We have the Ferrari on the back end of Dark. It's Corrigan who will go to the inside, and this guy knows exactly which way he wants to go, and he does stick it to the inside, and the move gets done perfectly there. The Ferrari driver, well, tries to get challenged then by the Aston Martin down the inside, but nothing comes of that one, as we still have the battle up ahead with the two AlphaTauris at the moment. But let's mention, the Ferrari of Dan is closer to Turbo than the AlphaTauris are close. So we'll have to see what is going to happen then as we go around the parabolic and onto the main straight. You can see Dan's getting really, really close now to Turbo. Turbo's going to be wanting to get past Dan's and not break this chain of back and forth battling about every single lap. But Oakley goes into the pit lane, and Dan's inherits the lead. Turbo's going to try and get past through and teammates. Yes, he does this time around. Turbo takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, but Dan's is fighting him back then as the Ferrari's trying to pick up on the pieces, and Ferrari's going to try and get through. The Ferrari is a bit iffy on the exit even. He goes into the wall, and that is his wing completely gone. Dan, who was right up there, crashes, and that is a safety car on lap 14 out of 27. Corrigan with 3-second time penalty that lap around, and oh, that was unexpected. That was really unexpected. But it's a safety car out, and I'll tell you what, boys, absolutely brilliant races so far. You guys are brilliant. Anyone in the stream chat, you got any questions, or you just want to have a conversation? It'd be nice to see some action in the chat if anyone's got anything to. If anyone's got anything to say. As we are on lap 20, not lap 23, I'm looking at the followers. Lap 14 out of 27, and Turbo Snail now finally comes into the pit lane. I'm pretty sure most people will that haven't pitted yet. Does Dan's go in? Yes, he does. Dan obviously goes in with that with the wing change that he's going to need. Jarman will go in. I'm not sure if Mezzanator will. I mean, he's on one lap old hard, so I doubt he'll go in. He does stay out, and Mezzanator will inherit the lead of the Grand Prix, I'm sure. Yes, he will. Oakley, obviously, on the new hards as well. He will stay out and just comes out ahead of Turbos now there, and they just about made it through, and that is lucky, lucky stuff for them. As Gunners gets through, and Dan's Motorsport will be 5th on the grid now. He was right up there with his teammate, and now he has to drop down, so the chain of him and his teammate battling it out is going to come to an end at the end, or on this lap. But that is the way things go. We have a safety car, obviously, and that is going to bring everybody closer again as we're on lap 15 out of 27. And it is Mezzanator from Oakley, then from Turbo, Gunners, Dan's Motorsport, Ash Barker. It is Dan, Jarman, Schultz, Peninsula, Jewel, Jeffy Naughts, James, Dark, and Corrigan. And we have lost Kieran on this race at the moment. I mean, we nearly, very, very nearly, lost the car of Dan earlier on, but he managed to not crash his tyre off when he went into that wall, and it was just minor wing damage that he picked up. And ladies and gentlemen, anyway, if there's anyone in the stream chat, if you want to put in a quick message, how you all doing? You doing all right? How do you think the commentary's going as well? My first time, obviously, doing it here today, and I want to do a good job for you, obviously. So if it's going all right, just tell me, and that'd be very nice to hear. Lap 16 out of 27 on this lap around, and we have had a brilliant race so far. I will not refrain from admitting that. It has been a brilliant race, absolutely brilliant, and I've enjoyed it very, very much, especially on a commentator's perspective, because it gives me a lot to put a show on about, as we have Corrigan in the pit lane and up ahead. Everybody obviously punched up under the safety car. We have the McLaren, who is not yet caught up, Ferrari not yet caught up, and the Aston Martin, who needs to catch up too, but they should do it before the safety car will be coming in maybe at the end of this lap. It's a possibility, but we'll have to see what the safety car decides to do at the moment. Heard out you can smell a Sunday roast on a Tuesday. Oh God. We're dissing Oakley now. As yeah, 4 of you in the chat at the moment, and it is nice to see you all here. Lap 16 on the safety car, and obviously safety car will not be coming in at the end of this lap, and we will we'll be getting ready to go racing again on the next lap around, I believe, and hopefully that is something that gets put in place soon. And my TV just fell over. Brilliant. As lap 17 out of 27, and racing at the end of this lap, hopefully, as we will run down the order once again. It is Mezzinator who will be leading us off from Oakley, Turbo, Gunners, Dan's Motorsport, Ash Barker. It is Dan, Jarman, Schultz, Peninsula, Jewel, James, Jeffinaut, Corrigan, and Dark in P15. We've lost Kieran at the moment, but it's unfortunate. We've had one safety car so far, which is this one, and hopefully we do not get any more. We only have 10 laps of the race remaining, I gotta say, and Jesus Christ, that has gone quick. It just shows that good racing makes the race fly by. It really does, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this one so far, and I cannot wait to get racing again here in the over 28s. It is a good race to commentate on, and if you want me back, I will definitely come back, because it is a brilliant one. Definitely good racing all the time. It is brilliant, as like I mentioned a million times, Mezzinator will be leading them away. Then you can see Oakley in the background, who is waving and trying to get his tyres warmed up and up to the optimal temperature before we get racing again. It's the safety car that is going to be coming in at the end of this lap, and finally on lap 17 out of 27 going on to 18, we will be racing once again here in Monza. As a safety car storms off in the distance, he will go into the pit lane, and it will be Mezzinator who will become the effective pace car then at the very front end, heading this grid at the moment as they head down the back straight, and very, very slowly as well, is to wait for the safety car to go in the pit lane. And this is definitely a very slow safety car restart that you normally get, but Mezzinator is not going to be slow this one. He absolutely sends it already and is racing already as the green flags come out, and Mezzinator speeds off into the distance. He tries to get the jump on Oakley. Will it work out for him though? Oakley managed to predict it brilliantly. Oakley is gaining down the main straight, and I thought Mezzinator got the good start, but Oakley is going to go to the outside. He definitely knows which way he wants to go this time. It will send his car to the outside. It'll be side by side into turn 1, and Oakley has got the inside corner on that time, and he is up and through, leading the Italian Grand Prix, and he got that safety car restart down to the last detail. Perfect then, as Mezzinator is going to try and push him down into the next corner, but will that come any light on that one? Because Oakley is doing brilliantly and staying ahead of Mezzinator on that lap around. Obviously, as you know, safety car came out and we've got everybody on new compound tyres at the moment. We're on lap 18 out of 27, and we're going to see if we can get some good racing like the last stint round. We have Ash, who is on the backside of Dan's, and Dan's was in about, well, Dan's was P3, P4 earlier, and he's down at P5 at the moment, and nowhere near his teammate. But Mezzinator gets through before the chicane, and we haven't seen that move yet between these two in this race, and now we've finally seen it, as now onto the back straight we go, and obviously we've just seen that move there. Just where we see Oakley get back and pass through. Anything going on down the back straight? I don't think so. We're going to keep continuing to watch this battle up ahead between Oakley and Mezzinator. Oakley goes a bit wide there. Mezzinator with a better drive out the corner, and he's clearly got the better drive. Just out that one. Turbo Snail picks up on them pieces. Oakley drops down, and Turbo inherits P2 now, and now up on his list is Mezzinator. Can he get Mezzinator before turn 1? That would be crazy if he can. He cannot at the moment, but he's right behind him. He gets through past Oakley. Next up on his list is Mezzinator, and he's right behind him on the rear wing of him right now. Puts the grass a little bit there, but we'll see if he can get closer. He certainly is very close at the moment, and he can probably get past him into this corner if he keeps going like this. Jesus, he's getting well close now. But he backs off just a little bit there and doesn't go through on that lap around, but he's going to try and keep pushing him. Jarman with a 3-second time penalty, and there's only 3 time penalties in this race at the moment, so not doing too bad on them. But the Ferrari and Dark having it out. Dark gets up and ahead through there. These guys are having a little battle then, as it is Dan from Ash, from Gunners, and from Dan's going into the chicane now. And now onto the back straight, and it is Dan who's going to try and get up there to everybody else. But these two are going out. Then it is Mezzinator who drops back, and Turbo Snail takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza, and it is leading and up ahead of the Grand Prix at the moment. Now they go onto the main straight, and now Mezzinator is probably going to be smiling about that one, because it means that he can try and get back through down into turn 1. I don't know if he's going to be smiling any longer though, because he cannot do it. And Turbo Snail continues to hold the lead into turn 1, and it's Oakley third at the moment, and these three seem to be breaking off from the main pack just a little bit at the moment, but not by too much so far. Corrigan is dropped back very much at the back, and is not that safety car restart up to the max at the moment. Then as Mezzinator is still going to continue to try and push Turbo Snail through the corners. We're on lap 20 out of 27, 7 laps to go now here in Monza. And do we have anything going on at the back? I think it's Jarman who's going to try and push Gunners here. Maybe he can gain up to him. We've got a load of cars really close to each other still after the safety car restart, and they haven't yet spread out. As Corrigan comes out of the pit lane, he had to go into the pits for some reason. I think he must have crashed and lost a bit of wing or had a bit of a collision with somebody. But now, onto the back straight we head, and towards the parabolic. It'll be Turbo Snail this lap around on the softs. That probably explains why he's so fast. Turbo Snail on the softs out there at the moment through the parabolic, and he's got Mezzinator on his back end, but a second between them. Oakley is more likely to get through past Mezzinator down here, to be honest. As we now go onto the main straight, and you've got the Ferrari to try and get through past the Aston Martin. But up ahead, you have Oakley who's going to try and get through past the McLaren. This one won't work out this time as we go into turn 1, and no move comes out of that one just there. And we continue to go racing down the straight with everybody else. And the Haas tries to go down the inside of the Aston Martin. Looks for the move, but the move is definitely not there for him now. But on the exit, the corner, it is Jarman and Schultz. Then as Schultz is on the inside, and the Aston Martin, the Alpine, has to weave there to not hit him. And he backs off and luckily doesn't crash on that one. Just there as Schultz gets through and up past Jarman to P8 as of right now. And up ahead, we still have the battle in between Turbo, Mezzanator, Oakley, Dans, everybody really, who is all out for the podium positions here this weekend as we are nearing the end of the Grand Prix. And it has been such a brilliant race so far. Turbo on the softs. We'll have to see if they drop off towards the end. That is definitely a big question. He's on the pace right now. He's got the speed, but how long can he hold on to that speed for before it completely drops off and drops off the cliff then? Because Jeffenaut also gets a 3-second time penalty there and head around the Parabolica. Turbo Snell with a beautiful corner there, obviously on their more grippy tyres, as they now go onto the main straight. And the Alpha Tauri has just got the speed down the straight, way over the cars behind. You know, he can get through past Mezzanator. He's just behind him, but he's not enough once again to get through. And clearly, Mezzanator's got the speed on him, speed advantage down the straight. Jarman has got the speed advantage on Schultz this time around, and the Haas behind is trying to get through as well. So is the Williams trying to pick up on the pieces. The Haas is now pushing the Mercedes through here, and nothing comes out of that one. Just there, the McLaren of Jeffenaut was trying to push Dark through the corners just there as well, but nothing came out of that one either. And we still have the battle up ahead, which is still continuing to go on, and this is exactly what we want to see up ahead at the moment. Then the battle for first, with all of these drivers really, and everybody is pushing on to try and get through. It's the battle for the podium positions, and we'll see who can come out ahead at the end of the Grand Prix. Up ahead, Mezzanator is finally gaining on Turbo Snail on them soft compound tyres. Up ahead, Mezzanator on the hards then. At the moment, the biggest difference between tyres. That's difference between them as well. Gunner with the 3-second time penalty, but Mezzanator now with the slipstream on the back end of Turbo as they now go into the Parabolica. And we'll see what will happen now. Mezzanator go around the Parabolica, keeps in the slipstream of him brilliantly. Mirrors his line to perfection then as he goes to the main straight. And Mezzanator now to the straight. This time around, he's got the speed advantage and goes to the outside. And on lap 23 out of 27, Mezzanator and Oakley both pass simultaneously past Turbo Snail on the softs, and both of the drivers who have been ahead so long in this Grand Prix get back and pass through Turbo. Turbo's had a shocker corner there, dropped down so many positions. Dan's up into P3. Ash made his way up to P4. Turbo 5th, who's been battling side by side with Danzu. Dan's going down the inside now even, and Dan even is through and up. Corrigan with the 3-second time penalty there, and we're on lap 23 out of 27. And we have a safety car then. There must have been something going on at the back. I didn't even see what's happened there. How did we get a safety car? I'm not too sure, but it's a safety car at the end of the Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen, and was not expecting that. Going on to lap 24 out of 27, and it'll be 3 laps to go, so most probably 2 racing laps after safety car goes in, and it's Mezzanator in the McLaren from Oakley from Dan's Motorsport, and the way that switched up is crazy. And as Oakley goes into the pit lane with a 5-second time penalty for speeding, and that will not be good for him. He will not be happy about that one at all then towards the end of the Grand Prix. That is not what he wanted to see. The guy that's been up there for so long picks up a big time penalty, and he will not be happy about that at all then as Oakley's in. Well, to be fair, the whole back of the grid is in, apart from Peninsula, Dan, Barker, Dan's Motorsport, and Mezzanator, all who did not go into the pit lane that lap around. And is that going to be a good choice for them, or will it come round to haunt them towards the end of the race? That is the big question, and we will see when the safety car comes in. But we have still probably about 2 laps under the safety car, and we'll have to wait for everybody to bunch themselves up behind it. Stream chat, come alive everybody. Anyone in there? How you all doing? There's 5 of you in there at the minute, and Be nice to see some conversation. And 24 followers on the Twitch now, and thank you for all the follows today. I much appreciate it. It doesn't mean a lot. All the follows that the follows that you've gave me today. Obviously, I do normally stream on the actual league's Twitch, but obviously this league doesn't have their own Twitch and have let me do my own stream on my own. So I've got my own Twitch this weekend, and I will be using this one for the foreseeable future. So when you guys come back to watch it, this will be the one you want to watch it on. So moving on to lap 25 out of 27, and there is 2 racing laps. I think the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, and I cannot wait to get racing here again in Monza. The racing today has been absolutely brilliant. Spears in the chat. Let's go. How are you, mate? Are you from this league or are you from somewhere else? I can't really remember too far. I don't know if I know you. But how you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Still on the safety car. No, HDL. Oh, we love HDL. HDL is brilliant. Big up HDL in the chat. We love HDL. Oh, Spears, you're the owner, aren't you? I didn't even think about that. Never mind. Hello, mate. Yeah, it's good to see you. As we are on the safety car, lap 25 out of 27, and safety car will be coming out at the end of this lap. Coming in at the end of this lap, even I can't even speak. Yeah, nice to see you in the chat, Spears. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't dropped a follow yet, you could drop a cheeky follow for me. That would be much appreciated if you haven't. No, you definitely did. You were on the first, actually. About to start the race now, and it'll be Mezzanator who will lead them away then from the rest of the pack as we get racing again here in Monza, and it's Mezzanator from Dan's this time. Then from Ash, it's Dan, Peninsula, Dark, Oakley, Turbo Snail then going down the straight, and it's Turbo who has got the cars behind him trying to challenge me. Dan into turn 1 then. These guys are being challenged as well. It is Mezzanator who still holds on to the lead at the start. Dan stays into P2 and Ash into P3 still at the moment. We've got moves going on at the back, and we've got a bit of a collision there on the last corner of the race. It is the Schultz and Corrigan who both went off on that corner just there. That is really unfortunate for that lot. But on lap 26 out of 27, we've only got 2 laps to go, and I cannot wait to see the last 2 laps of this race. It has been so close between Mezzanator and where's he gone? He's trying to make his way back up. It's Oakley who is with his teammate now, and Oakley has to drop back obviously because he went into the pit lane. In a minute, it doesn't look like it's going to be an Oakley win, but it could have been earlier. His teammate moves to the side to let him through, and Oakley gets through past his teammate. Now Oakley's got Dan just up ahead of him, and he's going to try and get through the rest of the guys ahead of him. He does want this win, or at least a podium. He's going to see what he can do then towards the end of this race, see if he can make up positions then as we go down the back straight. And not too long left of the Italian Grand Prix left now, as Oakley's already making the moves up on the guy ahead, and Oakley is through past Dan there, and he is through around the parabolic we go. Oakley's got Ash just up ahead of him now. Ash is battling from Dan's. Dan's wants this podium badly now, and he is in P2 at the moment. How long can he hold on to this one for then? His Dan has got the redemption back on Oakley, and Dan gets through. He's up ahead. We've got the battling going on here. Dan's is battling Mezzanator into turn 1. Mezzanator has to hold on to this one on the final lap of the race, and we're going to have a brilliant fight to the line then at the end of this race. Mezzinator leads from Dan's, from Ash, from Dan, Peninsula, Gunners, who's having a battle with Oakley just behind at the moment. His battle's going on behind that as well. It's the Aston Martin of Dark on the back end of Jeffrey Norton, but it's Dan's Motorsport who is now leading the Grand Prix, gets through past Ash. Mezzinator on the last lap of the Grand Prix, who was leading for so long and has such a brilliant race, spins around and bottles it on the last corner. And what a brilliant, brilliant race we have had this weekend. It has been the two drivers of Mezzinator and Oakley who have been ahead all race, but their fate has now come to light and they are now dropped back and down. And Dan's Motorsport, who has put up a brilliant race all weekend, is now continuing on. Has got Ash on the back end of him. Ash might be able to overtake him to the line then. Dan's has got to really be careful now then, as Ash is going to go to the outside of the final lap of the race. Can Dan's keep this position then as we go around the final corner? We're battling to the line. Will it be Dan's race? Will it be Ash's then as we head towards the line? I think it'll be Dan's as we go towards the line. And it's Dan's Motorsport who wins out this weekend in the Italian Grand Prix. It's Ash second, Dan third, it is Peninsula fourth, Jarman fifth, Gunners sixth, Jeffernaught seventh, Oakley eighth. And that is the end of the Grand Prix. Everybody finishes at about the same time, and what a finish this weekend. That was absolutely brilliant. I could barely even get my words out. There was so much going on. Oh my days, and Jarman gets your driver of the day, but it is Dan's Motorsport. At the very end of it, he gets very lucky as the car ahead of him spins around and goes ahead and wins the Grand Prix. Nearly gets overtaken at the very end, but he does do that one. Nice battle. See you next Wednesday, says Spears. See you next Wednesday, mate. I cannot wait for it. And have a nice evening, mate. As podium celebrations here in Monza, and that nearly made me lose my voice. That was a crazy end. Absolutely brilliant racing here in over 28's, and lovely league you've got going here, guys. Really nice. As obviously podium celebrations, and then next on to the finishing results. And as I say it, finishing results then for the race here in Monza. It's Dan's Motorsport who gets lucky at the end. He had a brilliant race throughout the whole race, so I'm not going to put him down for that. It is the British driver of Dan's Motorsport in P1. Then Ash comes across the line and manages to secure nicely a P2. It's all British 1 and 2 then, as we have a Welsh driver. It is Dan in P3 in the Ferrari to round off the podium this weekend. It's Peninsula P4, Jarman 5th, Gunners 6th, Jeffernaught 7th. Oakley, after having such a brilliant race, drops down to P7 at the end of the race. It is Dark in P8 at the end of the race. It is Dark in P9, and Mezzinator, who was at the front on the last lap of the race, dropped down, spun round, and went down to P10 on the last lap of the race. That's really unfortunate for the McLaren driver. And that is the end. Dual coat 11. I couldn't get to the rest of them because I was waffling. But thank you for joining me, everybody. And I hope the commentary was good for you. But that is the race concluded. And I will be back with you doing commentary on Friday for the race next weekend. Have a good one, everybody.